Entry 47 or 48. I stopped counting. I think it's a diary, but who am I writing it down for? Maybe for myself. To remember. To remember how everything was before the silence. It's funny. We call it silence, even though the world has gotten louder. It's just that one main sound has disappeared from it. A soft, almost imperceptible rustle, followed by a light click. The sound of the receipts being printed. The sound of order. A sound that proved that you existed, bought something, owned something. A sound that confirmed that the world was still in its place. It didn't start with an explosion, not from the virus, not from the fall of an asteroid. It all started with the void, with empty, white rectangles of paper. It all started when the world just forgot itself. The first time I came across this was at a coffee shop on the corner, Monday. I took my usual latte and paid with my card. The barista, a young girl with eyebrow piercings, handed me a check. I put it in my jeans pocket out of habit. And on Tuesday, when I was emptying all the garbage out of my pocket before washing, I came across it. An absolutely white, pristine sheet of thermal paper. Not a single letter, not a single digit. I turned it over in my hands. It was the right shape, the right glossy texture. There was even that subtle chemical smell of fresh thermal printing. But there was no information on it. Strange, I thought. They must have run out of ink cartridges, or whatever they have in those cars. I threw it away and forgot. A couple of days later, I was at the supermarket. A big purchase for a week. There was a bit of a commotion at the cash register. A woman in her 50s loudly protested to the whole hall that she could not get a refund for a pack of yogurt. "Here's the check. I just got it yesterday," she shouted, waving a perfectly white piece of paper. The manager, a tired guy, was trying to explain something to her about a system malfunction and a defective batch of paper. I still chuckled and sympathized with him. I took my receipt on which all my purchases were written in black and white and went home. And the next morning, yes, my check was empty too. I took it out from the kitchen table to add expenses to the app and froze. Everything was gone. It's like it never happened. A strange, irrational feeling came over me. It was some kind of trick. I even rubbed the paper with my finger, as if trying to erase an invisible layer. But no, it's just white. That's when this sensory dissonance appeared, which still makes me uneasy. I remembered the cash register spitting out that check with a soft buzz. I saw numbers and letters on it, and now my brain refused to believe my eyes. The object was there, but its history was erased. It was as if the thing's soul had been taken away. There was already a wave on social media. It was funny at first. People posted pictures of blank receipts with the hashtags paper amnesia, ghost purchases. There are memes where a Mona Lisa holds a white check from the Louvre in her hands. Everyone was joking. Someone blamed the Chinese, someone blamed global warming, someone blamed the new cash register firmware. The news channels have released a couple of stories. Experts in the studios talked intelligently about problems in the logistics of supplying a specific chemical reagent for thermal paper. It all sounded so boring, so ordinary. Another minor malfunction in the huge mechanism of civilization, which is about to be repaired. No one was panicking. Everyone was sure that it was just a temporary inconvenience. After all, we're used to everything being fixed, that there's always someone who knows what to do. We continued to go to work, buy food, and receive white, empty pieces of paper, which were now spreading around the world like a silent plague. No one has yet realized that these were not just checks. These were the death certificates of the old world. It's just that the ink on them hadn't had time to show up yet.
It's been how long? A year? 2? We don't count the days anymore. We're counting stocks. I dedicated today to the exchange. This is now the main ritual. Not a job, not a vacation. Exchange. I have a water filter, almost new. I need kerosene and salt. You can't just go and exchange it. First, you find the accountant. He's a former calligraphy teacher in our neighborhood, an old man named Peter. He is one of the most respected people because he has what has become his main treasure, a large leather-bound ledger and several dozen ballpoint pens. The ritual looks like this. I visit him in his small apartment, where everything is lined with shelves of books. I bring my own filter. Another man arrives, let's call him Mark, with a canister of kerosene. The 3 of us sit down at a large oak table. Peter carefully examines our goods, checks the filter for light, sniffs kerosene, then he takes out his book. He dips a pen into an inkwell. Yes, he uses real ink for particularly important transactions. It adds weight. And in his perfect handwriting, he writes, "The date is such and such. The month is such and such. I, Peter, testify that Alexei, the owner of apartment 26, voluntarily handed over the Aqua 7 water filter in good condition to Mark, the owner of House 8, in exchange for 4 liters of purified kerosene and 1 pound of salt." Then Mark and I put our signatures, inept, crooked compared to his lines, and then Peter takes out the most valuable thing, sealing wax, and a personal seal with initials. He drips hot wax onto the page and puts an impression. That's it. The deal is done. She's real now. It's been recorded now. Everything that leaves a trace has become treasures. Charcoal pencils, old typewriters, carbon paper. My laptop, which once cost $1,500, is now just a convenient stand. And I consider the old Parker ballpoint pen, which my father gave me, to be the most valuable thing in my house. I cherish it like the apple of mine eye. And garbage. Everything digital has become garbage. Servers, hard drives, flash drives. Giant data centers now stand like Egyptian pyramids, silent tombs filled with information that cannot be extracted, systematized, or applied. Millions of credit cards, plastic passes, and transportation cards are now just colored plastic that children play with on the streets. The main sound of the new world is creaking. The creak of a pen on paper, the creak of the wheels of the cart I'm taking to the market, the creak of the unoiled door hinges. And the main smell is the smell of smoke and dust. Smoke from homemade stoves where everyone cooks food, and dust from millions of books that have now been taken out from all attics and mezzanines. Not to read novels, but to use them as reference books, botanical atlases, medical encyclopedias, repair manuals. Paper knowledge has regained its original value.
Sometimes in the evenings, I sit by the window and look at our yard. Children draw a chalk map of the area on the asphalt, noting where rainwater can be found and where wild apples grow. They create their own reality, tangible, real. And I think that old world with its cloud storage, global networks, and instant transactions, it was also an illusion. It's just that this illusion was printed on trillions of small, fading pieces of paper. And when they disappeared, what did we really lose? The world? Or is it just a convenient way to pretend that we control it?
The panic doesn't come on schedule. She doesn't knock on the door. She hacks it when you least expect it. For a week or two, we lived in this strange, almost comical reality of disappearing checks. Annoying, yes, but not a scarecrow. I even made a stupid bet with a colleague when it would end. And then I went to get medicine for my mom. She has diabetes, and she needs insulin by the hour. I usually took a month's supply by electronic prescription. It was hell in the pharmacy that day. Crowd. People were shouting and swearing. I squeezed through to the window. Behind the counter was not our usual pharmacist, but a young girl, almost a child, with eyes full of tears. "The system is hanging," she repeated like a mantra. "I can't do anything. The shared database is not responding." A man was standing in front of me. He was trying to explain that his son needed an antibiotic. The girl took his paper recipe, typed something into the computer, which apparently was working offline. The label printer buzzed and spat out a small sticker. She stuck it on the box and gave it to the man. He walked away, and I saw it. Right before my eyes, the letters and numbers on this sticker started to fade. Not immediately, slowly, like snow melting in the sun. At first, they turned gray, then almost transparent, and after a minute, there was just a white sticker on the box. The man did not notice it, but I noticed it, and the pharmacist girl too. She looked at me, and in her eyes, I saw not confusion, but animal horror. At that moment, I understood. These are not just receipts. This is all thermal printing. Whole labels, tickets, boarding passes, price tags, invoices, everything that was printed quickly, cheaply, and in huge quantities. The point of no return for me is not a news report. It was a sound. The sound I heard when I ran out of that pharmacy. I was standing on the street. My heart was pounding somewhere in my throat, and I was clutching a useless prescription in my hand. And suddenly, the sirens began to wail. A lot. Not firefighters, not ambulances. They were police sirens. And they weren't going anywhere. They sounded from everywhere, merging into one continuous, ear-crushing howl. And through that howl, I heard another sound, a dull, rhythmic rumble. I looked towards the port, which was several kilometers away from here. Black smoke was rising above him. The rumble is the containers falling. Later we found out that the port crane, controlled by automation, simply could not read the barcode from the container. The system gave an error and dropped it. 20 tons of Chinese electronics. And then the next one. And the next. The memory of that day is a kaleidoscope. Bright, unrelated flashes. The face of that girl in the pharmacy. The white sticker on the medicine box. Red and blue flashes from police cars reflected in shop windows. People running out of the supermarket with full carts, ignoring the alarm. Someone smashed the ATM window. What for? He no longer gave out money, just blank white checks. And the smell. There was a burning smell in the air. It was the warehouses on the outskirts of the city that were on fire. The automatic fire extinguishing system was activated, but to activate it, the operator had to confirm the alarm code on the printout. The printout was empty.
The world wasn't collapsing. He was washing himself. A deleted one file at a time, one byte of information at a time. And the dominant thought in my head wasn't the fear of death. It was the fear of disappearing. Not physically, informational. If there is no record of who I am, where I was born, what my bank account is, what my house number is, do I really exist? We have built a civilization based on trust in these small, fragile pieces of paper. And when they betrayed us, we stopped trusting everything else. And first of all, to each other.